Hi, this is Kari, and I was here this evening with Cheryl, who was teaching the traditional version of this project recipe remix, Perfect Match by Creative Memories. And I'm going to go ahead and share how I created this layout digitally. But first, just in case you didn't watch the traditional recording, I wanted to share a couple of comments and notes about how this layout came together. So this is a remix of the original project recipe for seasonal sightings. And this was, I believe, 2022. Yeah, October of 2022. And they updated the instructions, changed some of the colors, and they actually shifted some of the photos around. So in general, the layout is very, very similar. But the one thing that they did modify on the layout is these two landscape photos that are on the left-hand page. The bottom one fits entirely on this green paper that's behind it, whereas on the remixed version, that bottom photo doesn't fit entirely on the paper that's right below it. So other than that, they're the same, but you can see it has a different look and a different feel with the different colors. So let's kind of walk through what we have here. So there's 3 photos on each of the pages, and it was designed with an idea of having some of the papers going over the middle of the seam between the 2 pages. So that way it looks like the paper is longer and it connects the 2 pages together. So there's a number of strips on the page. On this one, there's a border that's being cut or punched. And there is a circle that's not quite cut in half. It's cut in like a third, 2/3, and part of it is on the left page and part of it is on the right page. So taking a look at the layout, while it is not really a symmetrical layout, it is symmetrical enough that I ended up creating the left page, mirror imaging it, creating the right page, and then making the adjustments that I needed to. And in essence, there are 3 papers that we're going to utilize. So one of the things that I find to be very helpful is to open up my snipping tool and grab a snip of this image, and I copy it, and then I'm going to paste it onto my page area off to the side in my artisan project. So you can see it here. And this just helps me identify both the colors as well as which pieces are going where. So that just helps make things easier. So the other thing that I have found when we have a lot of pieces is if I try to create each of the strips with the original colors or the colors that I want them to be or the papers that I want them filled with, it gets really, really confusing. So I find that I start out creating the layout exactly the way this template is with this green, the blue, and the pink, and then I go through and I modify it. And we had a discussion about that tonight, and I think that can be really helpful to people. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and insert a shape, a rectangle for my background. So it's 12 by 12. I'm just going to make it white for right now because it really isn't going to end up mattering, but it's there when I'm ready to fill it. And I'm going to line it with the X and the Y at 0, 0. So then I'm going to do this piece N, which is this green strip at the top. So I'm going to insert another rectangle, and I'm going to go ahead and sample that green color to fill it. And I'm going to make the size of this 12 inches long by 0.75 inches wide, and I'm going to click create. And again, I'm going to use the X and the Y on the quick access toolbar to make it 0, 0, and then it's aligned. Now I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to go ahead and put it all the way down near the bottom of the page. And I know that the Y would be 11.25, and that will be adequate. Then I have one more green piece, so I'm just going to go ahead and make that one right now. So this one is this piece here, which is S, and this one is 1.75 wide and 5 high, and create. And I'm just going to stick this off to the side here. I don't know exactly where it's going to end up, but it's close enough for right now. So then I'm going to go ahead and put the blue pieces on. So insert shape, rectangle, and now on the fill, I'm going to sample the blue. And the first piece is 10.5 inches wide and 6.5 inches tall. And put it somewhere there. Again, I'll get these lined up later on. And I'm going to leave the circle. Oh no, I'll do the circle right now. So I can go ahead, instead of inserting shape rectangle, I'll insert a shape on the ellipse. And the instructions tell us that it's a 5 by 5 circle. And I can go ahead and click create. And I'm just going to put that up to the side, save my work for a moment. And I will cut that in a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and insert the shape, that little pink strip. So the little pink strip, it's N, sample that. And N is 1/4 of an inch. So 12 by 0.25. And that one's going to go up here, and I can slide it right on up. And it fits in very nicely. And I'm just going to copy and paste this for the other one. This is the one that's down in the bottom, and it depends on what shape you're going to use and what punch you're going to use, if you're going to use an embellishment, if you're going to actually use something else. So I'm just going to kind of put that down there for right now. I know it's not going to end up being that wide, but at least it's kind of down there and kind of close. And I think, other than the circle, that is everything that we need. So the other thing that they had was on the instructions, they adhered this. So this would be 3 inches from the top. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that down. And I'm going to just put this so it is centered. And I think that's almost everything. So let me go ahead and insert my photos. So I have 2 that are 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it. And this is where, if you remember, they had them so that it was hanging off the edge a little bit. And just for an alignment, I just want to see where the center line of this is, just for my information. And in order to have it be kind of symmetrical, it needs to be in there fairly snug. So I selected the blue rectangle, put a ruler marker right through the middle of that box, and then just by looking at it, attempted to align where I wanted those 2 photo mats. So I'm going to insert one more photo frame, and this one is going to be 3.75 by 5.75. So it's the same size, just the opposite orientation. And by putting it, I can see that my alignment markers tell me that that's where it is. And it looks like I need one more pink piece. And this one was J, so it was 0.75 by 6.5. And this just goes right on the edge here. And click create. So the other part of this is this circle, and it was cut so the smaller piece was going to be down on this page, and the larger piece was going to be up in the upper corner on the other page. So I'm going to just have it selected, go to cut, cutters straight, straight edge, and last to flatten, which is fine. And so I need it. I could be very precise, but I found later on it didn't necessarily matter. So I'm going to just cut that. I'm going to just put this one off to the side, and I'm going to put this one down here on the bottom. So now, depending on what your layout is going to be, you can decide whether you're going to put a border here or whether you want to cut it. So what I ended up doing on my layout was I cut it and went with a straight edge, shaped edge. So cut, cutters, straight, shaped edge. And I was doing some underwater pictures, so I selected this kit. It wasn't vitamin C. I think it was By the Shore. And there was this wave border, and I liked how that one turned out, so I selected that. And then I adjusted the waves using the aspect ratio and the spacing and the width that I liked. And I ended up keeping both areas because I wasn't positive. I was pretty sure that I wanted to keep the unshaded hairs, but sometimes I like to cut and keep them both so I can take a quick look at it and see if maybe I want the other spot, the other piece for something else. So I think that I don't need that piece. So I am going to just keep that. So now that I've cut it, it's really easy to go ahead and take this and put this on the other page. So let me just pull the instructions back up, and we can make certain that I've got everything. So we have the photos, we have the green strip and the pink strip at the top, and same with the bottom. So the way to make this a mirror image is to go over onto the Pages panel on the right-hand side, click on the drop-down arrow and say Insert a mirror image of this page. So it's going to insert a mirror image as page 100 in this project that I'm working on. So in order to have the page that I was originally working on with that orientation be the leftmost page, I'm just going to have to click it and drag it over. So now I'm on the other page, and you'll notice that it mirror images everything on the page. So it even mirror imaged that instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and select it, and I'm going to mirror image it back so that way I can see this part of the page. And a lot of the things are actually going to already work out for me. I'm just going to slide that one up because the green down here at the bottom is done. This punch is done. The green at the top, the pink there, those are already done. So I just have a few adjustments here, but I'm going to go ahead and get those set up. So this one, instead of being 10.5 inches wide now, is 1.5 inches wide. And this one, instead of being 1 3/4, is 10 1/4. And that is lined up like that. And now there is no vertical pink piece here, but there are a couple of horizontal ones. So I'm going to go ahead and make the adjustments to this. So it needs to be 8.75, 5.5. And that's going to end up sliding in here. I'm just going to move this out of the way. It's going to be here. And I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it. And that's going to be down in here. And I think that takes care of those. And now I have some photo mats and some photos. So I'm going to go ahead and insert the paper that's pink for those rectangles. And these are 3.75 by 4.5. And click create. And I'm going to end up needing 3 of those. So I'm just going to put one in and I'm going to copy, paste, paste, and just going to slide them in here. So what I find is the easiest way to do it is to select all 3. I'm going to select the base. I'm going to use the quick access toolbar so that they're aligned up with the vertical center on that green piece behind it. And then I'm going to use the align to distribute them horizontally. And I think I really want them a little bit closer together. So now I'm going to select them again. And now those are pretty good. So then I still have my 3 photo frames from before. I'm going to drag them all the way to the top. And I'm going to just change the size of all of them at the same time because they're already there. I don't have to put new ones in. So they're 3.5 by 4.25. Except it would help if the 4 actually got entered. And now I'm going to select one and then I'm just going to center it on the mats. And I'm going to select the next one. And I'm going to center it on the mats with the 2nd and the 5th. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the 3rd one. Now that I've got everything here, I can slide this other part of the circle down and have it in here. And I think I've got everything. So I'm going to save this. And now I'm going to view the 2-page spread. And take a quick look. And you can see that it mirror imaged my waves, which I might want to do, I might not want to do, but if you don't want to do it, you can actually just use the arrange rotate and use this one to flip it horizontally, and you can have it align it in so that the waves are all going in the same direction. So I think that is pretty much everything that we did on this page. I'm going to save it and I will try to share the layout that I did. And I think there's somebody else still on who has theirs. Maybe they would be willing to share their screen in a moment. So you can see a second one. So this is the page that I created with some photos. As you can see, I used that wave order that I demoed, and a lot of this was using vitamin C by Creative Memories. So I can pull up the properties. Yeah, it was vitamin C. It was a Creative Memories digital kit. Lynn, do you mind sharing yours too? So I will go ahead and stop
Sure, I can
sharing.
do that.
And she used another CM kit by,
Yep.
this was Peacock. So this was old CM company, but I love the colors. I think it turned out really nice. And I like your border. You said you created that from an embellishment, right? It was a single
Right. It
embellishment.
was an embellishment right down here that I made a line of.
Yeah, that turned out really nice. Very nice.
And I took this because of the peacock in the clock in the restaurant.
Very clever. Very clever. I like it. So hopefully if you followed all that and create a page, we'd love to see what you created. So again, this was the Project Recipe Remix Perfect Match, which we created traditionally this evening. And I decided I would try to make a digital recording of it created with using Artisan. As you can see, it really wasn't too hard. And I hope you enjoyed that. Love to hear your comments and love to see any pages you create. So be sure to share them with us on Consistently Creative Croppers page.